Now, today, the EFF embarks on its much-anticipated national shutdown. The party and Saftu are leading a march against rolling blackouts and a collapsing economy while calling for President Ramaphosa to resign. Julius Malema has called on his party members to target national key points. The government is responding by deploying over 3,000 soldiers and police officers to maintain law and order. Manqoba Mchunu is in Marabastad in Pretoria this morning and joins us with the very latest. Good morning, Manqoba. It seems it's quite quiet this morning there in Marabastad. How was the situation in the earlier hours?
Well, certainly, Punda, I can tell you that it's rather quiet here at Marabastad. I mean, by this time, this place is usually bustling with taxis and commuters that are making their work to the various areas. But we're seeing many of the streets quiet here this morning. Some of those taxi, depots as well are quite quiet this morning. There's not a lot of activity. But however, we are seeing some of those commuters making their way here this morning to the city center, of course, for various reasons. But it does seem, Funda, that many people have opted not to come to the city center amid the threats of a national shutdown and, of course, fears of possible violence that could erupt as a result of this particular strike. You're seeing now one of the taxis here that just has quite a few of those commuters that are making their way here into town. Businesses here have been affected. In fact, just looking around here, I can tell you, Mfundo, that many of the shops, in fact, all of the shops here have been closed. None of them are open. And we're told that many of the businesses opted to play it safe and not to open their shops for fears, of course, of looting and violence that they thought could characterize this particular strike. But I must say that we've been seeing quite a lot of police presence here on the ground. We're seeing officials also from Santaco that are here on the ground that are assisting as far as security is concerned. The police are also working side to side with Santaco. They have indicated, Fundo, that they are not going to be part of this particular protest and that their vehicles will be operating today. And we're going to get a sense from Santaco how things are going, because we have also heard reports of some of the taxis being affected, more especially in the townships. Some of the townships here in Pretoria, where we're told that some of the taxis had been prevented from proceeding with their routes because of the protest. Some of the roads are barricaded in areas like Soshanguve as well as Atteridgeville. We're also hearing reports that PATCO has also suspended their bus services, and this is due to the fact that one of their buses was attacked this morning in Soshanguve. But let me just get a clear picture from Santaco as far as they are concerned and how this has impacted them. Thabisho Molelekwa is the spokesperson for Santaco. Thank you very much for your time, Thabisho. How are things going so far according to what you're hearing? Of course, we are seeing here that there's not much activity happening here. How's the situation so far?
Well, we have checked all our provinces countrywide. Our leadership in the respective provinces have assured that the taxis are in operation. We have also drilled down to the regional level where we, for example, in Pretoria, as you have rightfully indicated, in Atteridgeville, I can also go as far as saying in Brits, people who were attempting to go to work were thrown with stones and so on. That matter has since been resolved. Last night at the University of Pretoria, were students who had barricaded the roads because of and had put tires all over. The industry had to help actually there to assist open roads because there was no law enforcement at the time, and they had blocked some taxis from coming through the site. So there is operation. Regrettably, as you have indicated, commuters are not there. Shops have closed for the fear of being their shops being vandalized and so on. So we will see what happens. As you compared to 6 o'clock in the morning, traffic is beginning to pick up. More taxis are coming in through. Even in Atteridgeville, the matter has been resolved. Taxis are now flowing smoothly. So we will keep our ear on the ground and monitoring the situation to to ensure that people who want to come to town or various sectors of the economy are able to access our taxis.
Of course, we have seen bus companies, some of them pulling off their buses this morning amid fears of violence and attacks that were carried out at some of these incidents. As Santaco, are you still standing firm that your operations will continue here? And what can you say to commuters?
The first thing we want to assure our commuters is that taxis will operate as normal. They have started at 3 a.m. as is normally the case. We will end at 10 p.m. as is normally the case. So they can be assured where they find problems, they can call us at any given point so that we are able to make the necessary intervention. But so far we know that taxis are available at request and there are taxis floating to ensure that commuters are able to access them. Yes, PATCO is not in operation, but taxis are well known for responding to such demands. So at any given point, whether you are a train user, a bus user, taxis are there today to ensure that you are able to reach your destination wherever you want to go.
Let's talk about the police, security especially, and how that is. You, of course, have been working along the police. Are they on the ground? Are they allaying fears of violence? Are you feeling safe that police have got the situation under control?
Well, quite surprisingly, yes, they have risen to the occasion. There may be challenges here and there, but they have really risen to the occasion, and it gives comfort that they are there, which is why even part of what we have indicated to the media is that Santaco will not allow its members to find themselves in confrontational engagements with protesters. We request law enforcement to do its part, and we have accordingly called the industry leadership countrywide that they should avoid a situation where they confront protesters and leave the rest to law enforcement.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time. That was Thabisho Malelekwa, who is the spokesperson of Santaco, just giving us an overview, Mfundo, as far as transport is concerned. Of course, not quite the bustling streets here in Pretoria. We have seen also the Tshwane bus services are operational, but they're also not quite full. And that speaks to the impact of this particular national shutdown. We're not sure at this particular point whether many people have opted to stay at home or many people have taken a day off from work, but certainly the transport services are there, but not quite a lot of commuters that we're seeing there this morning. And of course, many of the shops have been affected here. They are closed around the city. There are just a few of them that you can see that have been open, and we know that the EFF members, as well as those that will be protesting, have been gathering at Church Square. In fact, we saw just a short while ago a loud hailer from the EFF just going around the streets trying to mobilize some of the people to join that particular protest. But to understand that police are stationed across all the hotspots here in Pretoria, and they'll be monitoring the situation alongside members of the South African National Defence Force.